Welcome back to America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula and America's Medicare Associates with Scott Kerschner and Dave Ross. The number is 419-794-3030. Set up a time to speak with the team. You can also find out more about them and schedule a time on the website as well. That is arhq.com. Have you just turned 60? Well, so is Jill McBride. She is a former CEO who founded the website grownupdish.com.
I just turned 60. On Sunday nights, I sort my pills. I just turned 60. If I can't get a dinner reservation by 8 p.m., I'm not going. I just turned 60. Of course I have to put my glasses on to cook. I just turned 60. Of course, if I have even one glass of wine, I'm gonna sleep like crap tonight. I just turned 60. Of course I use my Alexa to ask how old all the celebrities are. Alexa, how old is Lionel Richie?
Lionel Richie is 74 years old.
And so I want to apologize, first of all, to any listeners out there whose Alexa device just went off. But, there is some truth to anything that is humorous. And there are probably listeners out there right now who just turned 60 in that retirement red zone. What should they be doing right now to prepare for retirement?
Well, I'm 62, but I everything that Jill said is exactly what I've experienced. And I know you probably have too. I don't know if you remember back when you turned 60, but it's funny because Sunday night is when you kind of wind down a little bit from the weekend, but you prepare for what's going to happen throughout that next week of work and get ready. And I always do that. I pull up my schedule, my calendar. I look and see what have I got going Monday, and what days are lighter than others for catch up and that. But hey Alexa, that's exactly what we still do at home, and it's actually really, really funny. Like you said, Chris, it's humorous because I think a lot of people can really, really relate to that. One of the things that you want to do, I'm going to go through a little hit list here, and Dave, I want you to jump in as we go. But you want to make sure that when you're getting ready to prepare for retirement, you want to make sure that you are looking to optimize your Social Security benefits. You can take your Social Security benefits at 62, but you want to make sure that you are going to optimize them based on your portfolio and what other resources you have available. Another one is, understanding how Medicare works. That's a big one because if you're not properly prepared, you could be setting yourself up for some major out-of-pocket expenses if you don't have the right plans put in place there. RMDs. Why don't you talk a little bit about RMDs and maybe some tax things they need to prepare for?
The way the rules sit right now, you need to start taking RMDs by April 1st, which is today, the year after you turn 73 years old. So the government is going to tell you how much every year you need to take out, and that amount is based upon whatever the value of your retirement investment accounts are worth on December 31st of the previous calendar year. So by the middle of January, it's going to be known how much you have to take out, and it's important that you do take it out because if you don't, the penalties, it's a 50% penalty if you don't if you don't take the RMD. So it also factors in, Scott mentioned optimizing Social Security. It might actually be smarter to draw down on your IRA savings and delay the Social Security because in a year from now, I'm going to be 66 years old in 8 months, which is my full retirement age. After that point, I can earn as much money as I want without there being an adjustment or a reduction in my Social Security. So do I turn it on at 66 and 8? Do I wait till 70? A lot of how I decide how I'm going to take out money from my retirement accounts will sway me in how I look at the Social Security.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is examine your tax implications, because that's a big one. A lot of people, if you're taking Social Security and then you start drawing distributions from a 401k or a traditional IRA, you're earning income there, and those income levels, depending on where you fall, could impact, I know this is crazy, but it could impact your Part B premiums on how much you're going to be paying in Medicare. I had some clients a couple of weeks ago, and their income, they look back 2 years, and their family household income was at a level where they were paying roughly almost $1,100 just for Medicare. So you want to make sure that you know exactly what kind of tax implications you're going to be faced with if you're drawing money in different locations. But here's another to kind of wrap this up. Finalize your vision for retirement. When I hear you guys talk about this a lot, it's one thing to have a retirement plan, but you really need to have a written retirement plan. So you have some sort of an idea exactly where and how the money's going to flow, where it's going to come from. What, like you mentioned in the previous segment, there was the independent income system. I think it's very, very important. Everybody can say, well, I got an idea and a plan on what I'm going to do in retirement, right? Well, things change. Life is not just easy right down the tracks. There's all kinds of different things that pop up. You deal with this all the time. I mean, this is your lane. How many people do you come across that actually have a written retirement plan put in place?
Very few. And the idea is when they start doing business with the retirement guys formula, America's retirement headquarters, they end up having one. And I think it brings a lot of peace of mind to folks realizing that, hey, we have a strategy, we have a method of how much money's going to come and where it's going to come from. But most importantly, I can't emphasize this enough, it's flexible. It's not, right. If something changes in your life, if something changes in your lifestyle, we can pivot that plan to fit whatever your current situation is. So it's highly flexible, and that's why you need to meet with us.
It all starts with that phone call, 419-794-3030, or go into the website. You can find the link in the the podcast description if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching on YouTube. It's right there. Or the website is arhq.com. I want to clarify something there, Scott. When you said finalize your vision for retirement, it doesn't mean that once you decide what you want to do in retirement, the plan can never change. Quite the contrary. Right. People's plans change all the time. But if you have something to fall back on, to be able to go back to the drawing board, the proverbial drawing board, as they say, if you have that plan in place, you can see, okay, this is how we get back to where we want to be or how we factor this in. So don't think of that as, set it and forget it. Not at all. But you do need to have a plan in place, putting pen to paper. And that first step, 419-794-3030, or go into the website, always available day and night, arhq.com.